Well, I guess it's the end of an era. And it's an era that I fought that I really didn't want to participate in. But it turned out that era was pretty awesome.
We always have an odd one in the crowd.
So it's kind of odd.
Decidedly odd.
Doesn't that strike you as a little bit odd?
No, it doesn't strike me as a little bit odd.
It's the Bob and Sheri Oddcast, the stuff we wouldn't, couldn't, or shouldn't do on the regular show. Now, here's the Oddcast.
I was like so many people, I'm never going to have a minivan. I don't need a minivan. I can take these babies in my Toyota Highlander. I'm not going to be driving a van. And I really didn't want one and couldn't imagine any reason to need one. My in-laws at the time, when I was married to my ex, they had a Toyota Sienna and they came to visit us. And they pushed a button and the back door slid open like a spaceship. And I had to admit, as we loaded the baby seat in, this is pretty handy, but I still didn't want a minivan. It just seemed like so much car. And could I not get it done in my SUV? Then I had my second child and I was getting it done as best I could in my SUV. But anybody that's wrestled with babies and car seats knows it's a lot. And you will have your biggest wrestle with getting the babies in and out of their car seats only when the weather is terrible, rainy, cold, snowy, humid, blistering hot, windy, hailstones coming down. That's when you're not going to be able to get the baby in and out and get the seats adjusted. And so the day comes when we are planning a huge family road trip. And there are going to be a lot of us. It's going to be me and Kevin, Olivia, Karamia, Russell, Zane, Uncle Sparkles, Rachel. I mean, that's a lot of people. And the opportunity comes up to swap my SUV for a minivan. And I didn't want to, but I understood that it made the most sense. Interest rates were insane. It was like 0% APR, right? So I traded my SUV for the vehicle that became the Starship Dancercize. This is back in 2013. That's how long I've had this car. Get the Starship Dancercize. The first day I bring it home, I drive it into a fire pit that I didn't realize the kids had set up in the driveway. So I give it its first ding ding on the first day that it's home. We load everybody up into it, and sure enough, it is the perfect family vehicle. It was awesome. It had that rear third row rear seat. You could carry, 7, 8 people in this thing comfortably. It got great gas mileage. It was a pleasure to drive. It was a smooth, sweet ride. So everything that I thought about having a minivan turned out to be completely and totally wrong. And I got to where I loved this vehicle. It was like an extension of my body. I spent so much time in it, driving the kids to volleyball practice and dance and picking them up from school. And my little dog at the time, who's crossed the Rainbow Bridge, he was my little shotgun minivan road buddy. The sound of that Sienna sliding door coming open, that dog would spring up from wherever he was and go airborne to get into his van. And I used to joke, I spent so much time in it that I had like an AC power converter and I could plug a George Foreman grill in and make a quesadilla for my kid to eat on the way to dance. Like, I lived in that car. And then when my girls were old enough to learn to drive, they learned to drive on that car. And then to my absolute shock, my youngest said, "Can I have the van? Are you going to sell it? Can I have the van?" And I was like, "Well, Kevin and I were going to find you a little reliable used car." And Karamia goes, "Well, can I have the van?" Which is how I ended up getting a little reliable used car that I was able to keep absolutely spotless. But now it's time to let the Starship Dancercize go. And we're all up in our feelings about it. So I need to tell you a little something about the Starship Dancercize. And it says more about me than it does about anybody else in my family. I'm one of those people that came up really hard, really rough, and really in a struggle. And I want it 1,000,000% the opposite for my children and the people that I love. So I tend to be a pretty laid back, not laissez faire in the sense of like, just do whatever you want. I don't care, because as these guys will tell you, there is nobody cracking that whip on your grades and your manners and your thank you notes harder than I am, right?
Yeah.
But when it came time to give the Starship Dancercize to my youngest, and it's going to be your car, you're going to drive yourself. It's your senior year in high school, even though it's a pandemic. You've still got this car. You can take this car to college with you. This is your car. My daughters took it on car camping trips together. It's been all over the country to visit family. This is your car now. This is a great car. Take care of it. When I said take care of it, I meant make sure it still runs and that you don't drive it off of a cliff. I didn't mean keep it detailed and looking like it just rolled out of the showroom. So one of the first things that my daughter wanted to do with the Starship Dancercize was transform it from my mom vehicle into her mom vehicle. And I didn't think to say, hey, don't do X, Y, and Z. So the next time I get in the Dancercize, my daughters and all of their friends have passed around a pack of Sharpies, and they've customized the inside of it. The headliner, I believe, is what it's called. The roof of it.
Yeah.
It's unspeakable what they've customized it with. It's a peek inside the id of Gen Z. Like, this is not just for everybody. It's pretty PG-13. And they put stickers all over it, and they hung fairy lights and tapestries. They turned it into throw pillows. They turned it into kind of like their own version of a Gen Z hippie van. I was fine with it. And I would have people say to me, how are you ever going to sell that? I'm like, it's the Starship Dancercize. I'd have to pay someone to take it off my hands. Are you kidding me? I'm not worried about selling it. The Carmi is going to drive it for as long as they drive it. The car's in year 13 now, and she's going strong. And I just could not send it with Karamia to Colorado for this next chapter, because I felt like a kid who's never driven on snow or ice needed something a little safer and a little more appropriate for that climate. And my mom has driven a Subaru Outback for 1,000,000 years and was like, Sheri, let's find a little used Subaru, which is what we did. We somehow managed to lay hands on a 5-year-old Subaru with low miles that belonged to one owner. And so that's what Karamia's next car will be. But it's time to let the Dancercize go. And I'm going to sell it. I mentioned on the regular radio show that I'm going to sell it on Facebook Marketplace, mostly so I can write up the world's most honest description. That vehicle that I fought so hard being a van mom, and all of my friends made fun of me. When are you going to have a sexy car? Why are you still driving that old beater minivan? That was such a chapter of my life. And now, like, all of that aspect of my life is ending all at once. My house is empty.
That's a lot.
My kids are thriving and gone. All of our kids are thriving and gone. And bye-bye to the Starship Dancercize with its Yakima bike rack on the roof that has been a fixture in our driveway for 13 years. That's a tough one to let go, Lamar.
Yeah, that is. It is tough.
Did you have that vehicle when you started having kids, Lamar?
Oh yeah. Well, I had. We started off. I actually bought a station wagon back. I mean, it was a big old Buick station wagon. It had the rear door, the whole deal, and plenty of room. But it was a diesel, which was crazy. It was crazy. But, no problem. And it left me on the side of the road, and not to be, and it was the engine, so it was gone. And so I bought a Suburban, a big big Suburban.
Those are beasts. Yeah.
Oh yeah, this thing had a 455, and it was crazy, big old. It was big. But then we bought a Dodge Caravan, and we had that for a long time because at one time I had 4 kids, and Jamie was a baby in a car, and carrier and everything. So, but yeah, I had the minivan deal. I really did. But the thing about it is, we all make fun of them, but because of the long wheelbase, they're very comfortable.
Oh,
That's where you get the ride. That's where you get the ride. A big car has a long wheelbase. It's more stable, and you get a great ride. You really do.
That thing was a dream to drive. Like from my very first test drive, I was like, oh, this is not. I think I thought it was going to be like driving a rented. Have you ever rented a U-Haul truck and driven a U-Haul truck? This is what driving a U-Haul truck is. I want you to imagine an old metal box spring and a lawnmower motor and a machine under the hood to make everything very, very loud. You can't hear yourself think. And the gas gauge drops as you watch it. Like you pull out of the driveway and the gas gauge starts dropping. That's what driving a rented U-Haul is like. I thought that's what driving a minivan was going to be like. I could not have been more wrong. Lamar, that bad boy was sweet and smooth.
My parents had station wagons throughout my childhood. And in fact, we even had one that had fake wood on it. I know you're impressed. That started peeling off.
Oh, yeah.
Anyhow, so the last car they had, the last station wagon they had, I wrecked it 3 times as a teenager. And they were my parents. Oh, it's okay. Please do laugh. My parents were on a first name basis with the guy who was the body guy, right? So as I'm getting older now, both of my siblings have moved out, and now I'm in high school, and my father decides I don't need a station wagon anymore. I'm going to get a car I want to get. So for the first time in my lifetime, my father is buying a car he wants to have. And what he bought was called a Dodge Diplomat. The Dodge Diplomat was the Dodge. So it was the Dodge version of the Chrysler Cordoba. And they had those commercials where Ricardo Montalban would come on and talk about the Corinthian leather, right?
Leather.
Anyhow, so my father was buying a car that was nicer than just a car to get him there. And my father never bought things like that. He was intensely practical about all things. This Dodge Diplomat was the biggest piece of crap that was ever on the road. He had that car less than a year and had it to the dealership like 5 times with not just the same issue, but different issues. And looking back on it, I feel sorry for him because he had finally gotten a car where he could be proud of it and not be driving around in a station wagon all the time. Because my parents, in growing up, my father took the bus to work, and so my mother would have the car. We only had one car growing up. Despite the fact that we had 2 adults driving that could drive, my father took the bus. Were you going to say something, Sheri?
No, I'm just like, I'm so impressed by this Dodge Diplomat. I have no idea what that is. I have to Google it so I can look at it.
You can Google it, and
It's
you
not
can
a sexy beast.
and you can look at. I can remember going with him and my mom to the dealership. He was so happy. He was getting a nice car. He didn't have to drive around in the station wagon that I had wrecked 3 times. And he vowed he would never buy, and I'm sorry if anybody is, I don't think we have any advertisers that are Chrysler products, do we? I don't think so. But he said, I will never own a Chrysler again. And this was a guy, my grandfather was loyal to Chrysler. My father was loyal to Chrysler. He loved Chrysler products because they were the little guy fighting up. And there was something about that was very appealing to my father for some reason, right? But after this Dodge Diplomat, he never had another one because it was such a POS.
Yeah.
That idea of like, ooh, I get to have my fun car now. I don't deserve to have a car. I need transportation, but I don't deserve to have like a fancy fun car because most of the time when I walk out into a parking lot now, I'm trying to get into somebody else's car because all I know about my car is its color. So I'm banging my key fob and jerking on handles. Like I just don't deserve it. I need something safe that's reliable, but I don't deserve anything real fancy. I can't appreciate it.
So my mother, when I was growing up, she said, people with cars with 2 seats, they're selfish people. So I have not owned a car with more than 2 seats in the almost entire time that I've worked with the show. I mean, that's a long time, decades. And my mother would always give me grief about the fact that I had a small car that was a convertible. She'd always give me grief about it. And one day, my father said, "Can I drive it?" And I said, "Sure, you can drive it." So he gets out and he drives it around. And you can tell that he's really enjoying it. And he looked at me and he says, "Don't tell your mother, but if I could, I'd have a car like this."
So his whole life, like he drove sensible stuff, but he wished for something else.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's the story of my dad's life.
Do we all have? I have my version of something that I've wished for my whole life that I don't have. I've never had. And in all seriousness, I'm probably never going to get. Do you have your version of that?
You mean what you're driving? Is that what you're asking?
No, it doesn't have to be your car. Like for some people, it's like your dad. Oh man, if I could, I'd have a 2-seater sports car. And there are other people that are like, boy, I would give anything if I could have a house at the beach, or a cabin in the mountains, or my very own horse, or whatever it was. Do you have something like that where you've wanted it your whole life? You kind of thought as a kid you'd get it, but it never happened for you.
I mean, I can answer that. It is a cabin in the mountains. I mean, that is something that when I go up, whenever I go to the mountains and I stay somewhere, I always imagine owning it. Oh, it'd be great to own this. But then,
okay, so that's your thing.
But but I always play it through and go, yes, but you'd have to pay for the electricity, and you'd have to pay for this, and you'd have to pay for that, and if you didn't come here enough, you'd feel like it wasn't worth the investment, and I think too much. What can I say?
You think yourself out of making the decision is what you do. You think yourself out of letting yourself have it.
With everything.
How about you, Lamar? Do you have something like that?
I was sitting here trying to think. I feel like I've had anything that I really, really, really wanted. I got it. It makes me impossible to buy for it. It really does. Anything. But no, because here's my deal about Carla used to always, when my wife Carla, when we would go to the beach, she loves the beach. She loves the water. She loves the whole deal. And she just, but my deal is if I had a place at the beach, after a while, it wouldn't be special. Going down there a couple of times a year is very special. But once I'm living there, it's no longer special. Now, Max, the mountain thing, that to me is more practical, and I enjoy being in the mountains. But I've never really wished for that. No. I'm a boring, happy person. I mean,
Sure.
If I wanted it, I've already got it.
Does it bother you how well adjusted he is?
It's weird to me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's weird.
I mean,
it's either completely authentic or there's some stuff in his basement that I don't think we want to know
it's
about.
really, really dark and way back there.
Yeah.
And oh, wow. Yeah.
if I've ever really wanted something, I have found a way to get it. I mean, I don't know.
There's something that I've wanted my whole life. And as a kid, I was like, I'm having this. This is what I'm going to have. And I've never had it. And there have been lots of good reasons why I haven't had it. It's expensive. I mean, there were periods of my life where there was no way I could have even imagined paying for it. And then chapters of my life where, well, we're not going to stay here long enough. It's not a good idea. And now I live in a place where I don't really, you guys know my house. I don't really have a piece of property for it, but I have wanted a swimming pool my whole life. And
See, I had one, so I've already had it.
Yeah, I've wanted it my whole life. And I know that it's not happening for me. And I actually, Kevin and I forget what we were talking about, but I was like, yeah, well, it's like that swimming pool that I'm never going to have. And he goes, you don't know that. And I'm like, can I just please point to a clock and a calendar and ask people to stop saying shit like that to me? Actually, I'm never going to be prom queen. They don't let people my age be prom queen.
And you don't know, and you don't know that.
Yeah. And I'm never, my parents wouldn't let me join the Girl Scouts because we didn't have Girl Scout money. It's too late for me to be a Girl Scout. There are so many aspects of my career. It's not going to happen, y'all. And it seems really unlikely. I won't say never, but it seems really unlikely that at this stage, I'm going to have a swimming pool. Would you agree, Max, that it seems pretty unlikely?
I think what you do is you just take that area where the garage is and you make that a swimming pool. You dig that out and you have an indoor swimming pool there where the garage is.
Inside the garage.
Inside the garage. Now, Kevin has always stuff in there, but you know.
Well, he lives there with the dog now. I mean, I'm pretty convinced he and the dog are going to start a family at this point. Yeah, it's just not, you know what? It's not going to happen. And can I tell you what a tall cotton problem it is? That's the thing that I can point to and go, that didn't happen for me. That's not going to happen. And yeah, could I have made it happen? Sure. But I had tuition to pay for my kids to go to school, and we're self-employed. You know, when you're self-employed, you pay outrageous taxes because there's no employer soaking up half of all of that stuff. And it's just, you know what? It's just not going to happen. Like, boo-hoo, too bad, so sad. But that's definitely the thing. Like when I think about your dad going, boy, I sure wish I could have had a fancy sports car. There sometimes, and it's almost always a luxury, like a sports car or a swimming pool or a beach house or a mountain cabin. You've daydreamed about it. And at some point you just sort of quietly accept that that's all it will ever be for you, is a daydream. And you don't burst into flames and die, right, Max? Like, you're still going.
Yeah.
Knowing that you're not going to have your mountain cabin. And
I'll just be happy for the times that I visit there and am renting somebody else's, you know. And lest anybody think that I've got some sort of really fancy sports car. I don't.
It's 30 years old or something.
It is. It's almost 30 years old. So, yeah. And it's not a classic car. So it's just a 30-year-old car.
We get all defensive about it's a 30-year-old car. I don't deserve a swimming pool, because for years on the radio show, if Max or I said something like, "Well, I had dinner last night," must be nice to have dinner.
Must be nice to have dinner.
So it's just
we lived on a dirt road. Well, it must be nice that you had dirt. We didn't have dirt growing up. We had a vacuum. We lived on top of a vacuum. There was nothing there.
I don't even exist. It must be nice to exist. Kevin said to me one time, he's like, but you don't even like to go out in the sun. What would you do with a pool? And I'm like, now, see, that's where you're mistaken. I just put sunscreen on. But am I going to go stand in the driveway? It's 98 degrees and 62% humidity. How am I going to just stand there? Like, if we had a swimming pool, I would splash around in the pool. Now, God works in mysterious ways, because with my anxiety and my crazy brain, how well do you think I would do living in a world where I had kids and a pool at the same place? I mean, I would be like, I'd have had electrified tripwires around it.
Oh, yeah.
I would have dug a moat and filled it with alligators. I would have had pool alarms, because I'm out of my mind. Like, I'm completely nuts and out of my mind, and I would have a hard time relaxing. And so maybe it's like good for the soul to always have something in your life that you wanted and didn't get, to keep you humble.
Yeah.
Lamar, you don't even know what we're talking about right now
No,
because you're over here going, well,
he already naturally has that.
I mean,
Sheri, I'm still gonna say that he's got something weird and dark back in the back. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, isn't it funny? Isn't it funny how he used to talk about his friend Taterhead, and then one day there was just no mention of Taterhead.
No more
It was
Taterhead.
it's like Taterhead got scrubbed off the face of the earth, and you'll notice Lamar doesn't invite us into his crawl space. We haven't been invited into that. And taters like it where it's dark and damp.
Yeah. Taterhead moved on to bigger and better things. He's driving a truck over the road.
Yeah.
Is he?
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say he moved on to bigger and better things. He's driving a truck over the Rainbow Bridge.
That's what I thought he was going to say too, Sheri.
No. He's out on the farm. He's went to live on the farm.
Yeah.
With Max's rabbit.
Yeah. He needed room to run and play. He's happier there.
Yes.
He's happier there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, everything ends, and I think it's a privilege beyond belief to witness the ending. Because sometimes you look up from your life and you don't know the last time. You don't know that something ended. You just realize it's gone and you're just now missing it. Right?
Yep.
So this is the end for us with the Starship Dancercize. But for all of her profane graffiti and stickers that nothing will take them off. You guys, an atomic bomb would not remove the glue from this dashboard. And I'm going to have to specify that when I list this on Facebook Marketplace. But the Starship Dancercize, she's going to go on and she's going to bless somebody else's life. Yeah.
She's going to live with somebody.
She's going to tote someone's tools or musical instruments. She is going to become somebody's, mobile van life camping van. She's going to be just fine. And we hope that the same can be said for Taterhead. But Max and I aren't convinced.
Yeah, let's quit bringing that up. Let's move on to something else. This is being recorded. This is being recorded.
Sheri, you notice that? It's very uncomfortable.
Lamar's over there and he's thinking, now for real, what you eat, don't make him fat. Okay, nothing to see here. Just move right along.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us for this episode of the Oddcast. You're who we're making it for. You and the DA who's transcribing this right now. We'll see you next time.